Hello, and welcome to the Thrive Mindset Podcast. I am so glad you are here with me. My name is Carrie Dale, and I am your host. I am an entrepreneur, author, podcaster, manifester, and motivator. And I am on a mission to empower you to create the life of your dreams. If you are looking to up-level your life, relationships, finances, productivity, and success, you have come to the right place. I will share with you tools, resources, strategies, my failures, and my successes that have all helped me achieve the life of my dreams. It is my goal with this podcast to help you see your potential and empower you to create the life of your dreams. So let's get to it. Welcome back to the Thrive Mindset Podcast. Today, we are going to be chatting about learning, loving, and launching, and how that tool can get you closer to your dreams and goals. I know you've all heard me talk about the 3 L's in my life, just like I talk about the 3 R's, right? So the L's are learn, love, and launch. And these are tools that I use on a yearly basis, on a monthly basis, and a daily basis to get myself closer to the things that I am working on, whether it be my goals, my dreams, whatever it is. I use these tools to get myself there. But first, let's chat about what each of them even means. So every year, I set one really big thing that I'm working on, one thing that I'm wanting to put out into the world. There's always a ton of other things, but there's one really big goal. And every year, that big goal is something different. And it varies from year to year as to whether it's a work-driven thing or it's a life thing. Examples of these for me in the past have been things like, this is the year I'm going to get into great shape. This is the year I'm going to run a half marathon. This is the year that I am going to establish myself in my career. I mean, whatever it is, they are different every single year. But it is something that is important to me and something I really want to achieve. And so for me to achieve it, I have found that by breaking that big goal up into bite-sized pieces, that I am better at achieving it. And I do that with learning, loving, and launching. Let me explain. Learning, for me, is something that is incredibly important because I believe in a growth mindset. I believe that we all should be continually learning something new. And for me, the learning part of achieving your goal is important because you need to know how to do it. And if you already knew how, you probably would have already achieved it. So like, for example, if I decided that this is the year I wanted to get into the best shape, well, I would need to learn the best exercises for myself. I would need to learn the best way to eat for me. I would need to learn, how much water. I need to learn about maybe macros. I mean, there's so many things that I could learn about to help me achieve that goal. And the more you learn about the things you are trying to do, the quicker you will understand what it is you need to do to get there. So the next thing is to love. And it's not necessarily to love the big goal that you're working towards, but it's to love what you have already accomplished and what you're doing well. So in this perspective of the big goal, if my big goal last year was to excel in my career, and I've been doing it well, and I accomplished that, well, I don't want to stop being great at it. I don't want to lose the momentum that I built last year with that being my big goal. I don't want to move backwards. So I need to love on it. I need to continue doing the things that I did all last year, but in a different way, right? I'm not learning how to do it now. I'm maintaining it. So I'm loving it. I'm still, again, if we're going to use career as this example, well, for me, that would be still working on my relationships with my clients, still building those connections, still being out in my community, still showing up for those that expect me to be there. And that is me loving on the things I've already done. And then the last part of this is launching. And when I talk about launching, that means I am building and learning and doing everything I can to take the steps and the actions needed in order to achieve that big goal. And I'm launching them out into the world. And sometimes I'm going to make mistakes and sometimes I'm going to do really well. But if I don't take the steps to launch it out there, I'm not going to know whether I'm hitting those goals or not. So for me, while I love this idea of the 3 L's in my life, I'm not one to just say, this is the thing I'm going to learn this year. This is the thing I'm going to love this year. And this is the thing I'm going to launch. I need to take those into smaller bite-sized pieces. So, well, sure, I will definitely set an annual, this is what I want to learn. This is what I want to love. This is what I want to launch. I will break them down into smaller, like monthly bite-sized pieces, and then also daily. So let's take this year, for example. So this year's big goal was Thrive Mindset for me, and to build this community to help anybody and everyone I could. And that's obviously a big goal. It is a time-consuming goal. It is not something I can do in a day or a week or a month. So if I back it up and I look at a month and I look at how I can apply what I need to learn, what I need to love, and what I need to launch in order to make that happen, it becomes much more doable for me. And I don't get as overwhelmed and I don't feel like it's impossible. I feel like I can do it. So let's take this again. Let's just take this past month. My goal this last month was to learn Wix, right? Wix is a platform for website, and it has so many other features in it. It has a CRM in it, and it just has amazing abilities to do emails and correspondence and payments and all of these things. And it's not a product I have used in the past. So for me, that has been my intention this month, is to focus on learning that and familiarizing myself with all of the tools that it offers and creating a better website. And then for love this month, I've already established this podcast, but I wanted to continue to grow it and build it and make it better and provide more information for you guys and get more guests and bring more excitement to it. So I am spending the time this month loving my podcast. And quite honestly, I'm so excited because I have been loving on it and I didn't change anything that I was doing. I have got some upcoming guests that I cannot wait for you guys to hear. And so I think that love is shining through and continuing to help me grow my podcast, but I'm doing it with a lot less effort than I was in the beginning when I was learning it and trying to launch it. And then my launch for this month was my new website, and it's out and I'm super excited about it. And I think it looks great. I'm still doing some tweaks and stuff, but if you guys haven't seen it yet, you should really check it out. It is thrivemindset.io. But listen, I don't stop with just a month of having my 3 L's. I break them down into my day as well. And the reason for that is it helps me keep my intention and keep my focus on the things that I'm wanting to accomplish. And sure, some days I'm better at achieving them than others. But at the very least, if I can come up with one thing to learn, one thing to love, and one thing to launch each and every day, towards that, whatever it is I'm working on for that month, which is then also propelling me forward towards my big year, well, then I'm making progress, big or small. But every day, no matter how big or small, I can say that I have learned something, I have loved something, and I have launched something. And when you take all of these days in a month and you take all of these months in the year and you combine together all the things that you've been learning, loving, and launching, well, you will look back at the end of the year and not only will you have achieved your big goal, but you probably will have done way more than you even expected. I can remember in past years when I was really trying to establish myself in real estate. And I remember saying, if I could just sell this many homes in this year, I would feel so great. I would be so successful. And it was my focus every day. And every day, like you all know, I journal and I do my gratitude work. And every day I would write down, I'd sold this many homes this year. And I remember making it about not even 2/3. I would say a little bit past half the year. And looking down one morning as I was writing that and thinking to myself, no, wait, how many homes have I sold? And I realized in that moment that I was one away from being the number I said, and I knew of some other ones coming up for me. And so I remember then quickly changing that number as I wrote it down and upping it a few, just because I was like, oh, that's so cool. So I did this. And then when January came around and I was kind of reevaluating what I was working on and manifesting for that year, I thought to myself, well, last year I thought that number was pretty darn lofty. Let's make it even harder. Let's make a bigger number. Let's just see what I can do. So the next year I doubled, not my original number, but I doubled the number that I ended up writing partially way through the year when I realized I was going to exceed. And that year I went beyond that. And I'm not saying that as a bragging moment. I am saying that because my point is that when you use these tools and you use love and learn and launch and you use gratitude and you write things down that you're doing and that you're wanting to do, and you keep your intention and you keep working and focused and you keep putting your energy towards it, you will see your dreams truly become your reality. And your dreams expand, and you will find that you are not only doing the things you dreamed of doing, but you are doing so much more. And the funny thing is that the things that you thought would be so hard or nearly impossible not only are possible, but you do well. And you've spent the time learning how to do it well. And you've spent the time loving on it once you've done it well. And you've spent the time putting it out there and trying new things and not looking at those bumps where you threw something out and it didn't work out right as failures, but instead just a learning lesson and a step to get you to the next step. I do think it's really important to talk about that for just a minute. We all make mistakes. We all think something could be a good idea and we try it out and it doesn't work. We all have those moments. And you can't take that moment and get down on yourself. I mean, sure you can, but it doesn't do you any good. Instead, you need to go, okay, that didn't work so well. What can I do to make it better? What can I do instead? What is another way to think of it? What did I learn from that? Because that's really what happened, is you learned something from it. You didn't fail. You just learned that thing didn't work. And you know what? If you take that and apply that to your daily learn, love, and launch, then you can learn how to make it better. You can learn what the next step is. You can learn what you need to know in order to do it better the next time. And then once you've done it and it's doing well, you can love on it and then launch the next step. Launch the next project. Launch the next idea. Launch it and see where that gets you. My hope for you today is that you'll sit down, write out that big goal if you haven't already, back it up into bite-sized steps each month and each day, and then just start doing it. Start learning, loving, and launching, and watch your life expand and become more than you even imagine. And above all else, remember, I believe in you, and you can manifest the life of your dreams.